Compose file directive to mount a host directory into a container.
volumes/local/app.
Restart a container automatically unless explicitly stopped.
Restart unless stopped.
Define an environment variable in Compose.
Environment, key equals value or env_file, .env.
Wait for another service to be healthy before starting.
Depends_on, db, condition, service_healthy.
Define a health check for a Postgres container.
Health check, test, cmd shell, pg_is ready you Postgres, interval, 5s retries, 10.
Expose a port to the host versus to other services only.
Ports, 5432:5432 publishes to host. Expose, 5432 reachable only on the Compose network.
Default Compose network name.
Project_default, services on this network can resolve each other by service name.
Persist Postgres data across container recreations.
Use a named volume, volumes, pg_data, /var/lib/postgresql/data and declare volumes, pg_data, at the bottom.
Run a one-off command without modifying compose.yml.
Docker compose run rm web bash.
Rebuild after Docker file changes.
Docker compose build, or up build.
View logs of one service in real time.
Docker compose logs fweb.
Scale a stateless service to 3 replicas.
Docker compose up dscale worker equals 3.
Override compose file for prod.
Docker compose f docker compose.yml f docker compose.prod.yml up d.
Best place to put secrets in dev.
.env file referenced via env_file, get ignored. For prod use Real Secrets Manager.
Common gotcha, containers can't reach localhost.
Inside a container, localhost means the container itself. Use the service name, db, or host.docker.internal, Docker desktop.
Define a build context with custom Docker file path.
Build, context, /app dockerfile, dockerfile.dev.
Per service resource limits.
Deploy, resources, limits, CPUs, 1.5 memory, 512M.
Force pull latest image on up.
Docker compose Poland and Docker compose up D.
Stop and remove containers plus volumes.
Docker compose down V warning destroys data.
Inspect why a service crashed.
Docker compose PS shows status. Docker compose logs web shows stare.
Pin to specific compose file version.
Use the modern format, omit version, entirely. Compose v2 plus no longer requires it and infers from features.
Mount a single config file as read-only.
Volumes/jinx.conf /etc/jinx/jinx.conf ro.
Define a profile so a service starts only with a flag.
Profiles, debug then Docker compose profile debug up.
Run compose under different project name.
Docker compose p my name up or set compose_project_name.
Best way to seed a DB on first start.
Mount SQL files into /docker enter_init.d/4 postgres/mysql. Runs once on empty data dir.
Pre-build only one service.
Docker compose build web.
Print fully resolved compose config.
Docker compose config, useful for debugging env interpolation.
Use a secret in compose.
Secrets, db_pwd, file, /secrets/db_pwd.txt plus reference in service.
Sample minimal lamp stack.
services, php-fpm, jinx, mount-site.conf, mysql, volume plus env. Link via Compose default network.
Common cause of service not found on Docker Compose run?
Service name typo, or wrong working directory. Compose only loads Docker Compose.yml in the current dir unless F is set.
Make web wait for DB reachable, not just up?
Add a health check on DB, use depends_on, DB, condition, service_healthy, in app, also retry connect on startup.
Override container env from CLI?
Web_port equals 4000 Docker Compose up only works if compose.yml uses $web_port, interpolation.
Best practice, separate compose for prod?
Keep base file with shared services, add docker compose.override.yml, dev, autoloaded, and docker compose.prod.yml opt-in via F.
Top-level keys in a compose file?
Services, networks, volumes, secrets, configs, name, and legacy version.
Service-level keys you'll use most?
Image, build, ports, environment, env_file, volumes, depends_on, health check, restart, command, networks.
Define a custom network?
Networks, backend, driver, bridge, then reference under service networks, backend.
Attach a service to multiple networks?
List under the service, networks, frontend, backend, useful for gateway/reverse proxy patterns.
External network use?
Networks, shared, external, true, joins a network created outside this compose file.
Custom container name?
Container_name, myweb, disables scaling, use sparingly.
Set the working directory inside container?
working_dir/usr/src/app.
Override the entry point?
Entry point, ./waitforit.sh, db 5432.
Provide command line args to image's entry point?
Command, npm, run, dev.
Define a tmpfs mount, in memory?
tmpfs/tmp, fast scratch space, lost on restart.
Bind mount with consistency mode, macOS?
Volumes, type, bind source, /src target /app /src consistency, cached.
Anonymous volume?
Volumes, /var/lib/postgresql/data. Docker creates one, survives container restarts but not down v.
List all named volumes?
Docker volume ls, compose names them _.
Inspect a specific volume's host path?
Docker volume inspect, see mount point.
Restart policy always versus on failure?
Always restarts no matter what, on failure, n, restarts only on non-zero exit, optionally with retry cap.
Best restart policy for dev?
Restart, unless stopped, survives reboots but lets you stop deliberately.
Use a different Docker file per env?
Build, context. Dockerfile, dockerfile.prod.
Pass build args?
Build, args, node_version, 24, referenced as arg node_version in Dockerfile.
Multi-platform build via Compose?
Build, platforms, Linux/AMD 64, Linux/ARM 64, requires buildkit/bilks.
Override service config per environment?
Use docker compose.override.yml, auto-merged in dev, and fdocker compose.yml fdocker compose.prod.yml in prod.
Order a file merge with multiple F flags?
Later files override earlier ones, values merge deeply.
Compose v2 versus v1 CLI?
v1 was Docker Compose, Python, v2 is Docker Compose, Go plugin, same syntax, better perf.
What does Docker Compose config do?
Validates and prints the fully resolved compose file with env interpolation applied.
What does Docker Compose top show?
Running processes inside each service's container.
What does Docker Compose events do?
Streams container lifecycle events, start/die/kill, useful when debugging restarts.
Force recreate containers without rebuilding image?
Docker Compose up deforce recreate.
Recreate only one service?
Docker Compose up deforce recreate web.
Remove only stopped containers from a project?
Docker Compose RMF.
Set Compose project to use a specific working dir?
Project directory path or env compose_project_dir.
Combine multiple files using compose_file env?
Compose_file equals base.yml, override.yml, separated, semicolon on Windows.
Set the default platform for all services?
Services, web, platform, Linux/AMD64, or env docker_default_platform.
Use a specific user inside container?
User, 1000:1000, avoids root-owned files when bind mounting source.
Mount user's UID into container automatically?
User, $UID:$GID, in compose plus export UID/GID in shell or .env.
Add capabilities to a container?
cap_add, net_admin, sys_trace, minimize for security, drop with cap_drop, all.
Run container with privileged mode?
Privileged, true, almost never needed, equivalent to bypassing many security controls.
Add a hostname alias?
Aliases, under network membership, or extra_hosts, API.local, 127.0.0.1.
DNS configuration?
DNS, 8.8.8.8, 1.1.1.1, useful behind corporate DNS that can't resolve public hosts.
Compose interpolation default value?
$var default, used if var is unset or empty.
Strict interpolation, fail if unset?
$var error message, compose errors out if var isn't set.
Inject literal dollar in compose values?
Escape with $.
Define a config file mounted to multiple services?
Configs, app_config, file, /app_conf, reference under each service.
Read secret value inside container?
Secret is mounted at /run/secret/ as a file, never an environment var.
Limit log size to avoid disk fill?
Logging, driver, JSON file options, max size, 10 M max file, 3.
Send container logs to syslog?
Logging, driver, syslog options, syslog address, TCP, / localhost, 514.
Send container logs to Fluent?
Logging, driver, Fluent options, Fluent address, localhost, 24224 tag, web.
Best way to inspect what environment vars are set inside a running container?
Docker Compose exec web env assort.
Run a shell in a running container?
Docker Compose exec web sh, or bash if installed.
Exec as root inside container running as non-root?
Docker Compose exec user root web sh.
Copy file out of a running container?
Docker Compose cp web, /etc/ /jinx.conf/jinx.conf.
Copy file into a running container?
Docker Compose cp /file.txt web, /data/file.txt.
Viewports actually mapped on host?
Docker compose port web 80.
Pause/unpause a service?
Docker compose pause web and Docker compose unpause web. Process is suspended via sigstop.
Get top processes by CPU/memory?
Docker stats $, Docker compose PSQ.
Real-time resource monitor?
Docker compose stats, compose v2 shortcut.
Show service config interpolated?
Docker compose config services lists service names. Without flags prints full config.
Set replicas count declaratively?
Deploy replicas 3 only used by swarm. For local compose use upscale.
Use environment from inherited shell variables?
Environment, home, no value. Compose pulls from host env.
Order of env precedence?
CLI environment, env_file, shell env docker file env.
Health check retries default?
3 retries, 30s interval, 30s timeout, 0s start_period, tuned for slow starting DBs.
Start period in health check?
Start_period, 30s, initial grace where failures don't count toward unhealthy.
Difference between exited and dead container?
Exited, stopped normally. Dead, stopped abnormally, process killed by OOM, daemon failure.
Detect OOM kills?
Docker inspect, grep killed, true if kernel OOM killer triggered.
Avoid OOM kills?
Set deploy.resources.limits.memory realistically, or fix the memory leak in the app.
Use a custom network driver, e.g., Maclin?
Networks, Mac, driver, Maclin driver _ops, parent, eth0 IPAM, config, subnet, 192.168.1.0/24.
Compose IPv6 support?
Networks, IP6 net, enable _IPv6, true IPAM, config, subnet, 2001 DB8:64.
Fixed IP for a service container?
Networks, backend, IPv4_address, 172.20.0.10, requires custom IPAM.
Compose swarm deploy section?
Deploy.replicas, placement.constraints, restart_policy, ignored by compose, used by swarm.
Run a service only manually, don't autostart?
Profiles, manual, service starts only with profile manual.
Conditionally bring up dev tools?
Profiles, dev, on adminer/mail catcher containers, keeps prod runs clean.
Multiple profiles per service?
Profiles, dev, debug, service starts if any matching profile is active.
Postgres init script ordering?
Files in/docker enter point init.d/run alphabetically, prefix with 01_02_ to control order.
Postgres user/db environment vars?
Postgres_user, Postgres_password, Postgres_db, create on first run.
MySQL equivalents?
MySQL_root_password, MySQL_database, MySQL_user, MySQL_password.
Redis with append-only persistence?
Command, Redis server, append only, yes, plus volume on/data.
Redis password?
Command, Redis server, require pass, $Redis_password.
Mongo with auth?
Set Mongo_init_root_username and Mongo_init_root_password, enables auth on first run.
RabbitMQ default user?
Guest/guest from localhost only, mount a definitions.json or use environment vars for real creds.
Elasticsearch single node dev.
Environment, discovery.type equals single node spac.security.enabled equals false.
Kafka in compose, craft mode.
Environment, Kafka_craft_mode, true plus a few Kafka_* vars, Bitnami images simplify this.
Jinx serving as static SPA.
Volumes/dist/usr/share/jinx/html, RO with a config that falls back to index.html for SPA routes.
Trafic as reverse proxy.
Run Trafic service, label app services with trafic.http.routers.web.rule equals host, example.com.
Caddy auto HTTPS in compose.
Bind ports 80/443, mount caddy file, caddy fetches lets encrypt cert automatically.
Mailhog for catching dev emails.
Mailhog/mailhog image, expose 1025, SMTP, and 8025, UI.
Add miner for DBGUI.
Add miner image on port 8080, connect using compose service name as host.
Run periodic job in compose.
Either a cron container, a service running its own scheduler, or an external cron plus docker compose exec.
Run a one-off init container that exits.
Service with restart, no, depends_on can wait on it via condition, service_completed_successfully.
Wait for service completed.
Depends_on, migrate, condition, service_completed_successfully.
Why depends_on alone isn't enough?
It only waits for the container to start, not for the service inside to be ready. Add health check plus service_healthy.
Set CPU limit.
Deploy.resources.limits.cpus, 0.5, limits to half a core.
Set memory limit.
Deploy.resources.limits.memory, 512 kernel kills if exceeded.
Set memory reservation, soft.
Deploy.resources.reservations.memory, 256 guaranteed minimum, not enforced limit.
Compose with rootless Docker.
Works identically, docker_host equals Unix, //run/user/docker.sock.
Use Podman compose.
Podman compose or Podman compose, newer, reads docker compose.yml with high compatibility.
Limit container PIDs.
PID_limit, 200, prevent fork bomb style runaway processes.
Read-only root file system.
Read_only, true, combine with TMPFS, for writable scratch DIRs.
Add an SBOM tag for compliance.
Labels, org.opencontainers.image.source equals.
Force a specific platform on Apple Silicon for AMD 64 only images.
Platform, Linux/AMD 64, Rosetta emulates it.
Override the user namespace.
Users_mode, host or users_mode, keep ID on Podman.
Compose with BuildKit cache mount.
Inside Docker file, run mount equals type equals cache target equals /root/.npm npm ci. Compose triggers this via build.
Use Bake for multi-image builds.
Docker build spake reads a compose style file, HCL or compose.yml, to build many images in parallel.
Common cause of port conflict.
Another container, another compose project, or a host process already binds the same port. Change host port, ports, 8081:80.
Find what's binding a port.
macOS/Linux, sudo sof itcp, 8080 stcp, listen or ssltn.
Stop and remove containers but keep volumes?
Docker compose down, no v.
Stop and remove containers plus networks plus volumes?
Docker compose down v remove orphans.
Orphan containers detected warning?
Containers from old service definitions still exist. Remove with remove orphans on up or down.
Compose build cache invalidation issue?
A changed file outside the build context isn't seen. A copy early in the Docker file invalidates everything after. Order layers carefully.
Best practice, bind mount node_modules?
Don't, instead use anonymous volume to hide hosts node_modules, /app/node_modules after, /:app.
Hot reload node app in compose?
Mount source with /src, /app/src, run nodemon or framework dev server inside container.
Hot reload vite in compose?
Vite host 0.0.0.0 plus ports plus bind mount source. May need polling. True in vite.config.js on macOS for file change detection.
File watching not working on macOS/WSL?
Bind mounted FS doesn't fire and notify reliably. Use polling watchers or file system syncer, mutagen.
Compose with WSL2?
Run from inside the Linux file system, /home/user/ for best performance, not /mnt/c/.
SQL dump from Postgres container?
Docker compose exec db pg_dump u Postgres dmydb backup.sql.
Restore SQL dump into Postgres container?
Docker compose exec tdb psql u Postgres dmydb backup.sql.
Livetail logs of all services?
Docker compose logs ftail equals 100.
Filter logs by service?
Docker compose logs fwebdb, multiple services as args.
Color the log output?
Compose colors by default, no color to disable for piping.
Set timestamps on log lines?
Timestamps flag on logs.
Watch resource usage live?
Docker compose stats or top-level Docker stats.
Limit container restart attempts?
Restart_policy.max_attempts, 3 plus restart, on failure, 3.
Compose run with override for one variable?
Docker compose run efoo equals bar web command.
Run task with TTY, interactive?
Docker compose run rm at web bash, default is interactive, T disables TTY.
Mount users SSH keys read-only for Git in container?
Volumes, /.ssh, /home/node/.ssh, RO, security risk if image is shared.
Multi-stage Docker file referenced from Compose?
Compose passes through to BuildKit, specify build stage target, build, target, prod.
Use BuildKit cache from registry?
Build, cache_from, registry/web, cache, plus cache_to, in CI.
What's the difference between Compose project and stack?
Compose project equals local, stack equals compose deployed to swarm via Docker stack deploy.
Convert compose.yml to Kubernetes manifests?
Use compose convert, review output, never deploy blindly.
Migrate from Compose to Helm?
Compose handles dev nicely, Helm/customize for prod. Keep compose.yml for local DX even after Kubernetes adoption.
Compose with Docker Desktop Kubernetes?
Compose stays local, Kubernetes runs separately. Compose doesn't deploy to Kubernetes without conversion.
Run Compose against a remote Docker host?
Docker_host equals SSH, //user at host Docker compose up, uses SSH transport.
Common cause, no matching manifest for Linux/ARM64.
Image was built for AMD 64 only. Set platform, Linux/AMD 64 or find an ARM 64 supporting tag.
Strategy for slow first-time compose up.
Pre-build images in CI and pull from registry rather than rebuilding locally.
Hidden cost of using latest tag.
Unrelated upstream changes can break your build. Pin to specific tags or digests.
Pin to image digest.
Image, Jinx at SHA-256 ABCD, guaranteed identical bits.
Discover the digest of a tag.
Docker pull Jinx 1.27 and in Docker inspect format equals index.repo_digest0, Jinx 1.27.
Disable swap inside container.
Compose can't control container swap directly, pass to Docker via memswap_limit.
Disable IPC namespace sharing.
IPC, private default in modern Docker.
Share IPC with host, legacy apps.
IPC, host, security risk, avoid if possible.
Use Docker secrets in dev.
Docker secrets only work with Swarm. In Compose, mount a git-ignored file via secrets, pwd, file/pwd.txt.
Compose with Docker hub rate limits.
Auth polls with Docker login. Consider a registry mirror or cache image in CI.
Use a private registry.
Image, registry.example.com/my/web:1.0. Docker uses /docker/config.json credentials.
Pull policy.
Pull_policy, always, missing, never, controls when Compose pulls before running.
Compose v2 watch mode.
Docker Compose watch, auto rebuild/restart on file changes per xdevelop.watch, rules.
Watch sync action.
Action, sync, copy changed files into running container.
Watch rebuild action.
Action, rebuild, full image rebuild on matching changes.
Sample watch config.
Xdevelop, watch, path/src target/app/src action, sync.
Debug compose interpolation by printing one var.
Docker Compose config grep myvar.
Pipe compose config into a temp env.
Docker Compose env file /prod.env config.
Difference between .env file and env_file.
.env autoloaded for interpolation in compose.yml, env_file, populates environment vars inside containers.
Compose_profiles env.
Activates one or more profiles without CLI flag. Compose_profiles equals dev debug Docker Compose up.
Service depends on syntax with no condition.
Depends on DB, Redis, short form, just affect start order, no health awareness.
Service _started condition.
Depends on DB, condition, service _started, same as short form, the default condition.
Stop signal customization.
Stop _signal, SIGINT useful for apps that don't handle SIGTERM gracefully.
Stop grace period.
Stop _grace_period, 30s, waits before sigkill.
Force kill all containers in project.
Docker Compose kill, sends sigkill, kill SIGINT to send a different signal.
Common rookie mistake with environment vars containing $.
Unescaped $triggers Compose interpolation. Use $$ in compose.yml to escape.
Common rookie mistake, secrets in image.
Never copy .env into image, secrets become part of the layer history. Use runtime injection.
Common rookie mistake, bind mount overrides container content?
Volumes, : app over an image with /app/node_modules wipes them. Use anonymous volume to preserve.
Healthy compose for Laravel app?
PHP FPM plus Nginx plus MySQL plus Redis plus QWorker. Q runs in its own service with the app image and PHP artisan Q work.
Healthy compose for Rails app?
Web, Puma, plus Sidekick plus Postgres plus Redis plus, optionally, Chrome for system tests.
Healthy compose for Django app?
Unicorn plus Celery Worker plus Beat plus Postgres plus Redis plus, optional, Flower.
Healthy compose for Next.js app?
Next.dev plus Postgres, plus Redis for sessions, anonymous volume on node_modules.
Healthy compose for FastAPI?
Uvicorn with Reload plus Postgres, mount source for hot reload.
Healthy compose for monorepo?
Define a service per package needing isolation, share networks, use profiles to toggle subsets.
GPU access, NVIDIA, in compose?
Deploy, resources, reservations, devices, capabilities, GPU.
Compose with overlay file for CI?
Docker compose f docker compose.yml f docker compose.ci.yml run rm test.
Best dev compose practice for Git collaboration?
Commit base docker compose.yml, git ignore docker compose.override.yml so each dev customizes.
Detect compose version?
Docker compose version should say v2.x plus, v1, Python, is end of life.
Common cause of cannot connect to the Docker daemon?
Docker desktop not running, or socket path wrong, Linux, sudo system to start Docker, usermod ag docker $user for permissions.
Clean up and used everything?
Docker system prune volumes, careful, removes all unreferenced images, networks, volumes.
Reuse a built image without rebuilding?
Docker compose up no build.
Skip pulling images?
Docker compose up no pull, uses local copy or fails.
Verbose compose output?
Verbose flag or compose_http_timeout tuning for slow networks.
Inspect compose project metadata?
Docker compose ls lists active projects.
Run inside named project?
Docker compose p proj name ps is useful when multiple compose projects coexist.
Idea, Docker in Docker for CI?
Bind mount hosts docker.sock or use docker, dind. Dind is heavier but isolates the daemon.
Common security note about docker.sock mount?
Mounting /var/run/docker.sock grants root equivalent access on the host, avoid in untrusted environments.
Use a build secret, build kit, in Dockerfile via compose?
Build, secrets, npm_token, plus secrets, npm_token, file, /npm_token, run with mount equals type equals secret.
Build time environment var only, not at runtime?
Use arg in Dockerfile plus build.args in compose, not env.
Health check disabling for one service?
Health check, disable, true.
Compose with reload on change for Go binary?
Use air, or concentrec/air image, watches source, rebuilds, restarts.
Compose for Python with WatchGod?
Run Uvicorn app reload or use watchexec/watchdog for non-ASGI apps.
Common cause, bind mount empty inside container?
Path mismatch, host path doesn't exist, or relative path resolved from compose file dir, not where you ran Docker compose.
Test that volumes survive recreation?
Docker compose down, Docker compose up d, Docker compose exec db cat /var /lib /postgresql /data /postgresql.conf.
Find which compose file is being used.
Docker compose config services works from where compose ran. Pair with F to verify.